Yeah, I'm starting now. No, it's all good. Peace to the family, peace, love, and light. Welcome back to another one. Red, I'm gonna definitely need you to tap into this. Whole lot going on. You know what I'm saying? I think that's an understatement. A whole lot of activity on the last day, the critical degree of Pisces. It's the last day of winter, you know? And goddamn, it's whew. Yeah, it's given today. So we got a lot to discuss. Hey, what's good, Terrain? How you, family? Yeah. We tapping in. It's one of the midday drive-bys. Pisces tuned in. Shout out to the Pisces in the building. Right? Shout out to the Aries. Y'all season is coming. You're a few ticks away. I know y'all finna turn up. And of course, you know that ushers in the spring. Yes, our new year that we love celebrating and talking so much about. The new year officially kicks in mañana, tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? I just wish that we were just a little bit more festive about it in this community. I really wish that, we was laying and waiting and just as adamant as we are about telling people what the new year isn't. You know what I'm saying? We should have the same energy for what the new year is because, it deserves to be celebrated. We made it through. It was for some people, right? In Atlanta, we were blessed, right? We didn't have the craziest weather. It wasn't, but there was other places around the country that had inclemental weather and it hit them kind of hard. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want to gloat in nobody's face. But yeah, we definitely want to say thank you all. You know what I'm saying? Yes, indeed. Yes, it's 4:44. Yes, it is. All right. So, it's again, I don't even know where to start. There's so much going on. But I really wanted to focus today on our continuing conversation around hip-hop and contracts. You know what I'm saying? The things that we're seeing, we're seeing a lot of things right now, especially in hip-hop, as it pertains to mental health, as it pertains to the fallout, right? But what's the root of all of this? You know what I'm saying? And this is not to make any excuses for anybody's buck wild activity out here, especially in these streets. But, and it's not to paint any of these artists as victims or what have you. And it's not to relieve them from responsibility for being grown men. You know what I'm saying? But they are being taken advantage of, or they have been taken advantage of by these record companies, and that it kind of dovetails into other news items that we touched on today. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna do as best as I can to summarize and put all of these pieces together as best as I can. I really would appreciate Brother Red, if you in the building. I seen you tap in. I may need some assistance on this one. It's a lot. It's a lot. You know what I'm saying? And I can walk the walk. I just, what's up with the Trump and the segregation stuff? We'll get back to that. You know what I'm saying? Because when I was speaking on it, and I've been highlighting this since January 20th, people was cool on it. They didn't want to hear what I had to say, so we'll get back to it. Because that ain't going nowhere. You feel me? So we'll definitely get back to that. But let me see. What was I looking for? Wish you could interview Ye Blue before he really jumps off the edge. There's nothing that I can do for Ye. I don't think there's anything, that can be done for Ye at this particular point in time. The only thing that we can do is sit by and wait. You know what I mean? And it's unfortunate, you know what I mean? I'm on my Scorpio shit, so I'm like, they like, wait for what? Ye's only gonna not be Ye when Ye is no longer Ye. You know what I'm saying? Other than that, he's Yeing. He's gonna Ye to the casket drop. And it's painful watching somebody in this amount of pain that look like they got like a death wish. And we've seen Kanye in that space before. You know what I mean? And Kanye kind of peters out. He hits the bottom of his bucket when his relationships don't go well, right? And we have to understand psychologically, specifically as a Gemini, right? Geminis are governed by their mind. I think that Ye vicariously compensates for the loss of his mother through relationships that he has with the women in his life. You know what I'm saying? And then he has these abandonment issues about, and just like look at Ye's relationship with the women in his life, and look at Ye's relationship with his fans and his friends. He pushes everyone to the edge, right? And when you finally break, right, then he chastises you. Trump is the same way. Trump is the same way, right? He'll push people to the edge. It's almost like gaslighting. You know what I'm saying? He'll push you to the edge, and if you respond to the push, or if you go over the edge, then he'd be like, weakling. Oh, you went over the edge. You're you're not strong. You're not a man. You know, and that's not real. To say that he never had a good relationship with melanated women. When I was covering him, when I was doing interviews with him, he was in a relationship with that young lady. I think her name is Alexis. I may be wrong, right? But he was in a relationship with this young woman, and you can kind of tell based on the relationship that they had that she was somewhat of a strength. I mean, I personally saw her compensating for him in areas, because remember, he was still looking to be accepted in the industry. He was still hitting his head, making mistakes. And she was the one specifically that was even killed and level-headed. He got rid of her once he got absorbed into the industry. So Ye got pulled in first. He had a handler, ironically, a Jewish man by the name of Gabe. And Gabe was his handler. You know what I'm saying? And when Gabe got hold of him, they pretty much was pulling him away from that young lady, Alexis. I literally watched it happen. You know what I'm saying? I would watch it happen. I would watch them stare him and take him places and leave her behind, right? And before he knew it, because he wasn't mindful, again, attempting to be accepted in these circles. Oh, where's my whiz at? Yeah, she's over there behind the velvet rope. She ain't getting to VIP with you. Type shit like that. Then I saw the differences when he was with Amber Rose. You know what I'm saying? I saw the differences. And there was more fluidity in terms of the acceptance. He never left her behind. She went everywhere that he did. Right? Because that was more in line with the game that he was playing, transitioning into this quote-unquote hip-hop artist, into a mold that had never existed prior to him. You feel me? So let's have, and for lack of better terms, and I'm not asking for us to be apologetic when it comes to Ye, but let's have a little bit of compassion. We all know that he's mentally off. You know what I'm saying? Regardless of whether he's on his meds or not. He has a fractured personality and a psychosis, right? Again, Geminis are governed by the mind. His mind ain't all the way there. You feel me? And he's a classical example of someone's mental has been traumatized by porn. Okay? And the successful marketing of the Western ideals of beauty standards. He was raised off of porn, and that's who he fetished. He fetished a woman that kind of kind of fit into his fantasies. And he told you on the album Dark Twisted Fantasies what he was into. So it's no surprises. Said he broke up with his Wiz when 808s. Yeah, around that time. You know what I'm saying? So, is it how forthright is it of us to fault somebody who once again laid the whole game plan out to you, told you who they was, what they was about, and we watched the whole thing go down. Hold on, let me just wipe this off a little bit. There we go. Gotta look a little bit crisper. Yes, Ye has definitely been a line pusher when it comes to freedom of speech and things of that nature, but I don't know if that's necessarily what we're looking at.
Man, it's so hard not to act reckless. Man.
I don't know if we're looking at necessarily free speech, and unless we want to say, yeah, he's testing the parameters of free speech on social media, in regards to what can be said. If you have an open forum of free speech, right, then we can say, all right, this guy is testing the parameters of that. You know what I'm saying? But I think it's a little bit deeper than that. Yes, he's attention seeking right now. As a Gemini, he feels left out of the conversation, and retrograding got nothing on him. You know what I'm saying? So he's very much about communication. He wants to be in the conversation. He thought that his career will always be tethered to Drake's, and when the dynamic of Drake shifted, and Drake was no longer the dude, when Drake was no longer on top, when Drake was no longer his adversarial force, that he could say, I'm always going to be in the game, tethered into the conversation, because I got this adversary who I have a secret love for. They got a bromance. And I'm not being funny. I'm saying that they're tethered to one another cosmologically. And, we've been breaking this down for since 2010. What's that, 15 years now, right? Cosmologically, Draco represents Draco, or Drake represents Draco, which is the Draconian or the Draco constellation. And then Kanye represents Polaris, which is the little bear. And those are constellations, so they have stars underneath them, right? Case in point, the way that they explain it, Drake has a stimulus package, right? Meaning that all of those stars underneath him that he hit with stimulus packages, giving Future his number one, Pluto, right? All of these cosmologically situated individuals that have a lot of quote unquote influence on the minds and the hearts of the masses, specifically the younger people in our society who will inherit this earth. You know what I'm saying? So we be thumbing our nose at them, but you can't do nothing without them. Let's not get fancy on the young ones. We need them. And what they think and how they move is integral to what the future of this world is going to look like. So this is somebody that's programming them, for better or for worse. So the Draco constellation, we got the Drake stimulus package, and of course there's a plethora of artists, of stars that fit under Kanye's umbrella. He's a constellation. He comes with stars. He's created stars. You know what I'm saying? He has something that amounts to star power, that is star power times 100. This man ran for president. Like, let's give him his just due before we attempt to cancel him. Let's be clear about who we're speaking about. And if we wasn't speaking about someone who was so colossal in terms of their footprint on culture, we wouldn't be speaking about them. You know what I'm saying? So it's just not enough for us to be dismissive of him and be like, yo, he's batshit crazy. I tell you one thing that he's not necessarily crazy about, that unfortunately, if he was a little bit more sane in his disposition, a lot of people will be owing him an apology right now, because, it's definitely coming to the surface and the forefront about the Zionists' control, not only of media, but as we can see with the JFK files, the levers of government and control. Ye's going through the dark night of the soul 100 times, 100x. I definitely would say that. But again, it's compounded with a few things. Again, anytime that the relationships deteriorate and he feels abandonment from women, then that ignites and triggers what he's going through with his mother, because those women was compensations for his loss of his mother, because he's vicariously being mothered through them, right? He's working with Game and Puff and Dish and Jay and the fam. Yeah, so he's think about when the last album came out, right? Well, the one in the Donda album, not the one that just, not the other one, not the Vultures one, right? Was it Donda? Yeah, it was Donda, because Donda 2 came out on February 22nd, 2023, a day before they started the war in Ukraine. And he had that concert, and he banded with the Misfits. He had Playboy Cardi on stage, you know what I'm saying? He had all of the Misfits. He had Marilyn Manson, right? Marilyn Manson had just caught an SA charge and he got canceled. This was the Christian rapper who was hanging out with all of the dudes that was on Demon Time. He had Amphibio Foreign on stage, right? And they messed up. The energy was offset during the ending of that concert. I think Future was there too. And they jacked up the ending of his concert. They threw the energy off because, of course, it was a ill mixture of energy. So he always sides with the Misfits. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, he always sides with the Nihilists. Yes, he sides with the Nihilists, and then we could see a full embrace of nihilism with the Vulture Project. You know what I'm saying? When he went full nihilistic. So we see him ranting right now we see him ranting with, quote unquote, Cardi and Kendrick, once again, because he feels left out. You know what I mean? And yeah, I mean, this is bad promo, right? This is not how you do the promo. The new album definitely is named Bully. You know what I'm saying? But you're not gonna bully yourself to number one in an environment like this, right? I think that is that is a preposterous marketing, quote unquote, plan, because, people are definitely offset with his latest antics. And it's like we've been hearing this about Ye for the last 4 or 5 years. So we never know what's enough, because, yes, he's definitely pushing the envelope as to what it takes for someone to get totally canceled. I think that Kanye is uncancelable. And even in his transition, even when he's no longer here, we'll still be talking about him. There'll still be think pieces. And then it won't take long for people to be like, you know what? Man, I miss Ye. You know what I'm saying? At least there was somebody that was willing up to stand up and tell it like it is. You feel me? So, yeah, I think that he's definitely mentally damaged. I think that he's definitely off. I think that his wires are twisted. You know what I'm saying? But we've already known that about him, right? So there's nothing that I'm seeing that's necessarily new. He's just at his extremes, right? And he's giving people fair warning. He's like, yo, I'm about to attack. Just like he did in 2023 when it came to the Zionists, right? He gave people fair warning, and then he followed through. So it's the same, right? He's heated with Playboy Cardi because he's not part of the project. He feels blighted and slighted and left out. You know what I'm saying? And then this person who removed him out of his comfort zone. And his comfort zone was always having Drake as number one, as someone that he was tethered to so he could compete with and feel like, you know what I'm saying, he was important enough that Drake cared enough about him to respond or to kick him or what have you. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, when his relationships go sour, this is normally how he lashes out. He acts out. When he was acting out in 2023, that's when he went through the divorce with Kim. You know what I'm saying? And he's acting out now because I think that woman may have walked away from him, and he feels abandoned, so he's being triggered and is bringing up all of the suppressed emotions that he felt when he was with these women based on his mama. And that's not to make any excuse for him. You know what I'm saying? That's not to make any excuse for him. I'm just saying that there's nothing that's going to stop him, you know, outside of him being, you know, sent up. You feel me? There's nothing that's going to intercede or stop this individual from his self-destructive path because he relishes off of the attention. You know what I'm saying? And he needs the attention. As a Gemini, he's part of the conversation. He needs to be spoken about. He's on your mind. He's on your feed, right? Cancel or no cancel, you talking about him. And that's what he wants, right? And how do you avoid that? How can you ignore him? You can't ignore him, just like you can't ignore Trump. It would be detrimental for you to ignore Trump, even if you don't like looking at these individuals, right? It's dangerous to not look because you don't know what they up to. You feel me? Yeah, shout out to the Geminis. You know what I'm saying? But can't nobody tell him that we in retrograde. You feel me? He's insisting that the communication be about him. And his communications, of course, is off. But I ain't seen nobody jump out and defend the babies and said that they wasn't off the spectrum. Shout out to the twins. And I don't, you know, it's neither here nor there. He don't know how to love himself. And that's the point of it. You know what I'm saying? And again, if we're concerned enough about people, then we can't project on them and say they should be this or they should be that. There's no, you know, I don't, the level of pain that this brother is in, you know what I'm saying? There's no interceding with that. You know what I mean? There's no interceding with that. Yeah, he's tethered to his pain. Until he leaves his vessel and gives up the Holy Ghost, there is no subsiding of the pain. There is no silencing him. There's no canceling him. Can't put a muzzle on him. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, he hates it here. And the only way for him to heal is to be next to his mama. He got to go back into the arms of his mama because the arms of the women that he chooses to compensate and replace his mama, that don't work, right? Because it's that you know, that weird Oedipus situation where you look at your wife like your mother, but you treating your wife like a porn star. Pause. I mean, you know. Yeah, so until he deals with his shadow work, but we know that he's very far from dealing with his shadow work. We know that who was going to compel him to deal with his shadow work, right? He told you on the album, you can't tell him nothing. And now he is acting it out. And we sung all of those songs and we partied to it and we thought it was entertainment. Yes, Oedipus Rex, right? We thought it was entertainment and we thought it was fly. And once again, now they're showing you to your face what it is, and we're repulsed. I'm not. You know what I'm saying? Because this is Ye. This has always been Ye. For the most part, in terms of the version of him that's crashing out. You know what I'm saying? This is classical crash out Ye. Let's speak about some more crash outs while we at it. I think Slauson Girl was in here. Shout out to Slauson Girl. Shout out to Alien Black Girl. Alien Black Girl, if you don't know Slauson Girl, I definitely want to make the introduction. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, there's a lot going on the West Coast right now. So the West Coast is about to go through what we witnessed on the East Coast, you know what I'm saying, by way of chatty patties talking themselves into RICO indictments, right? And people going on these podcasts and having diarrhea of the mouth and telling the world things that was only known, you know what I'm saying, you know, within the confines of these communities, within these hoods. Or you had to be part of the street element to kind of know some of this information. Now you could just go on your TV, right? Loose Cannon and I mean, they got whole series. They got whole series, like 12-part series on YouTube about how Big U has something to do with Nip. Right? And yes, Yes, right? As we embark on the anniversary of Nip, as we move into Aries season, you feel me? As we move into Aries season, I think is very indicative. When they catch up with Big U, it's definitely going to be an Aries season. And that's going to tell you a lot. That's going to tell you a lot of what you need to know. You know what I'm saying? About cosmic street justice. You feel me? So, yeah, I mean, I would add Red to the live if he sends me a request. I don't got no problem with that. Let me see. Nah, he ain't sent me no request yet. You know what I'm saying? Yes. Enthuse Nip's Energy, the rise of Marathon Burgers on Melrose is kind of like a period. The marathon will continue. You know what I'm saying? These brothers will they're gonna gain traction in the race. And without, shout out to Black Sam. You know what I'm saying? I always said that we all deserve a brother like Black Sam. And this is no knock to Red. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Red. I'm not saying that I wish that you was more like Black Sam, because I don't want to leave this vessel and transition like a Nip for you to be a Black Sam. But every time that I was around Nip, you know what I'm saying, all he would talk about was his brother. His brother was incarcerated at the time, so I didn't get a chance to meet Black Sam back then or what have you. But he spoke about that brother. He spoke about his brother Peace. He spoke about his brother in the most celebrated ways. You know what I'm saying? I always was like, damn, I want to talk about my brother like that. You feel me? You know, he edified his brother. He elevated his brother. He always gave credit to his brother as being the reason that he was doing what he did. So for his brother to pick up the slack, you know what I'm saying, and to put on the way that he is and stand 10 toes down and remain sucker free. And again, as a man, show you that the way that you revenge your brother, the way that you revenge your loved one, is you continue to work, you complete the work. You don't spin the block and take the whole situation down and put your granny in danger and your mama in danger. And now Black Sam is you know what I'm saying, back in the penitentiary, and all of that business would have got flushed down the toilet. Then the people who was really scheming would have won. You know what I'm saying? He handled his business. The way that you edify your ancestors as you complete their incomplete work, that's how you spin the block. That's how you make it, plain. That's how you make it right. And Black Sam has given us an example in the midst of gang warfare, in the midst of gangland. That brother has given us a real-time example of what it looks like to pick up a torch and run the race to the finish line, to completion, right? And let the universe deal with what it needs to deal with. There's no such thing as time when it comes to righteous retribution. You feel me? It will catch up with you. So now, we see the situation today. If the family is unfamiliar with what's going on today, there was a federal indictment that came down in LA, right? And they snatched up members of the Roller 60 gang with Brick Baby and Luke Cannon on the RICO indictment. Now, they specifically got them because these was the individuals who were openly saying that they had an issue with Big U, right? So they're running the same play that they're running in all of these areas. We're going to snatch up the people that you got beef with, and we're going to snatch you up, and we're going to let the people that got beef with you shit on you, you know what I'm saying, and soil you down or what have you to strengthen our case. And, they're going to get released back into the world with a tag of rat on them, but they was already online ratting. So what's the difference if you're going to get on a podcast and give us the whole schematics? You gave us the whole play. Luke Cannon told us everything, goddammit. He told us shit that we weren't even supposed to know. Right? He got them looking at Big U for crimes that the feds probably didn't even know about. So how, you snatch this individual, you put him in a pressure cooker, and then you be like, we just need you to confirm with us the things that you already said on the podcast. We need you to confirm with us the stuff that you already said on YouTube. You ain't saying nothing that you ain't said. You already said it. We already got the tape. We don't even need you, technically. You feel me? But we're going to give you an opportunity to be a legend and bury this person that you said that you got so many issues with. That's where we at. Unfortunately, that's where the culture's at. These are the type of plays that's being ran. Right? So, again, shout out to an individual such as Black Sam, who did not fall for the bait, and instead he stood 10 toes down and finished his brother's incomplete business. You know, now they got Marathon Burger. You know what I'm saying? Now he's literally, figuratively, and literally running the marathon. You know what I'm saying? You stay down until you come up. And that's a beautiful thing, you know? But it's unfortunate that, you know, whatever's going on out west is going down the way that it is. Yeah, super unfortunate, but it is what it is. Right. Let's see this real quick. Real quick.
Do that or the entertainment groups, the drill rappers.
You have drill down here.
Oh yeah.
I thought that was a Chicago thing.
No, man, it's down here too, man. And the thing about it is, we like to run them out of town. Like, there's a couple of them that they know they can't live here anymore. There was a particular song. Was Vanessa Carlton?
Yes.
What's the name of that song? It's real catchy. Everybody likes it. Yeah. 1,000 Miles. They sampled her song, and then they made a song, a rap to it. And they were talking about people that had actually been killed in Jacksonville. About 5 or 6 of them, right? They named in that song.
They did name it.
But that's what drill rap is. It's nonsense, but it's impactful because they're talking about people that have actually been killed. And those people have parents, they have mothers, they have fathers, they have brothers and sisters that feel the effects of what's going on. They think it's a joke. Now, the young men that we go to visit are young men that are either involved in gangs or have names that popped up several different times about violence in our community, and they're not wanted. Which is, if they were wanted, we visit them another way. But we'll visit them today. It's non-confrontational. Usually we have a packet with pictures of them. You know, whether it be on social media, holding an AK, holding 223s, the Dracos, whatever it is they're carrying. And we'll let them know, listen, we know what you're up to. You're not wanted right now, so you have an opportunity. The opportunity is you quit. And if you don't want to quit, we're going to make you quit because we're going to put you in prison. Pastor Scott Garland, he'll talk to them with some of our community partners.
So the church,
sometimes he prays with them if they want prayer. And then we wait, see what their decision is.
So this is what you mean by proactive policing?
Part of it. The other part is what they do. A lot of stuff that they do is they follow these guys on Instagram Live. They understand what's going on. They hear about things that are going on. Then we interdict them before they get a chance to go do bad stuff.
You guys didn't think in what your 40s that you'd be Instagramming so much?
No, we leave that to the young people. We know what they do, and we let them do it.
Okay.
They sampled her song.
They know what they do, and they know when they do it, right? Because, of course, this is a open society. These apps are accessible. You don't even need an account to, quote-unquote, view them or look at them. Everything's being monitored, right? So what is the tendency to want to get online and tell all of your business to the world? Right? Our babies need attention. Our babies need a fucking hug. You feel me? When you talk about what's the repercussions of the lack of masculinity in the home, right? How can you detrimentally damage the development of a child by not hugging them, by not listening to them, by not being there for them, right? Your baby want to grow up and be seen and heard, and they will do the wildest of shit for attention. And we were told that, and we have said it on numerous occasions, and I've seen the degrees of it, you know what I'm saying, come to this level where stuff that used to be spoofs, that's the stuff that's popping up on the news in every day. You know, the shit that we used to be like, man, that's so far-fetched, that need to be on the Boondocks or something. It's in the headlines right now, right? Somebody asked me about the discrimination, and they wanted me to touch on that. I don't think that I am per se, but I'll just lightly, gloss. I'm going to just lightly touch on it. Black Marines with razor bumps could be kicked out of the military due to new policy, right? So the other day, they changed the rules. Again, I keep telling you about this guy, Pete Hegseth. You know what I'm saying? If you really want to know what's going on with this administration, you have to follow the people who are in power, right? But really the ones that that are in alignment to make detrimental changes and decisions, the ones specifically that are like, we want to get rid of whoever don't agree with us, so when we do what needs to be done, can't nobody question us, right? And Pete Hegseth is definitely that character for Donald Trump. And Pete Hegseth is in charge of the Department of Defense. So a few days ago, they eliminated a decorated military veteran, right? They scrubbed his name off of the quote unquote off of the Department of Defense registry, not registry, I'm looking for the word, website, goddammit. And they replaced his name with DEI medal. Now, this is a decorated soldier, right? And the only way that you can gain these medals in the military is by way of meritocracy. No one is giving you medals that you did not earn. So this is a decorated soldier. You know what I'm saying? They scrubbed his name, and there was outcry, thankfully, online, and they pushed back, and they had to replace his page. You know what I mean? So they're trying their hands. They're seeing what they could get away with. They're seeing, what are you willing to defend? You feel me? Who do you care about and who don't you care about? Because whoever you're not willing to defend, are they coming for that? You know what I'm saying? They're coming for that. This individual right here. And I know you guys don't care. You know what I'm saying? But I've been embedded. I've got to know a lot of veterans as of lately. And they are a respectable group of individuals, even if they've been duped into service. Right? They believed enough in something that they was willing to step forward and serve for the capacity of not only this country, but for our people specifically. You know what I'm saying? And that honor is being disregarded for whatever reason. So, yeah, there was a page for this individual, Charles C. Rogers, right? And thankfully, again, because of the backlash and the pushback from our people, they had to reinstate his page. But they said the U.S. Defense Department's webpage celebrating an Army general, who served in the Vietnam War and was awarded the country's highest military decoration, has been removed and the letters DEI added to the site's address. On Saturday, U.S. Army Major General Charles Calvin Rogers' Medal of Honor webpage led to a 404 error message. The URL was also changed with the word medal changed to DEI medal. At the insistence and the instructions of Pete Hegseth, okay? And let's just take a real quick look at Pete Hegseth. Trump's defense secretary nominee has close ties to Idaho Christian nationalists. So not only is he tethered and tied to Christian nationalists, i.e., neo-Nazis or extremists, but his pastor, right, an individual named Doug Wilson. Now, I'm not just saying all of this shit for my health. You know what I'm saying? Y'all just need to do a little bit of research on some of these people because, it's going to come up. It's going to come up, okay? It's going to come up. Doug Wilson, right, who founded the Calvinist group of church called the Communion of Reformed Evangelical Churches, this dude went on a national tour saying that slavery was a good thing. Right? Slavery was a good thing. No, DEI is not a trigger word for white people, goddammit. Cut it out. Come on, we just the fuck. These are the Christians that do not believe in separation of church and state. The whole idea is to destroy the government and create it into a theocracy. Do you know what a theocracy? A government that is ruled by God, but the Christian God in particular, right? Let's see what Doug Wilson has to say about slavery, because this is the ideology that is now in the quote-unquote administration that is moving things forward and moving things ahead. You know what I'm saying? And if you understand the perspective of what they think, then all of this will make sense to you. But regardless of that, then you niggas gonna be coming on my page trying to tell me what DEI is and what it isn't. Fuck what it is, right? We talking about they want all of the smoke. They're rolling back civil rights and putting shit back into the Jim Crow era. They just got to go to DEI to get to affirmative action, to get to civil rights, to get you niggas. So all of this deflecting about what it is and look, the niggas want smoke. Okay? And deflecting and ignoring it or trying to, put the hood over your head, that's not going to make it go away. Doug Wilson, a Christian minister and theologian, faced controversy over his pamphlet, Southern Slavery as It Was, co-written with J. Stephen Wilkins, which some critics interpreted as downplaying the brutality of slavery and suggesting a more benign view of the institution. Okay? They were saying it was beneficial to melanated people. They were saying it was part of the Bible and it was ordained for us to be slaves and under slavery, once again, because we were savages over there. And we should be thankful that we were saved from savagery and brought over here to be good slaves. Try telling somebody that y'all know anybody in the DMV? Do you know that melanated people ran the government? You know the majority of them jobs that's been shaved or what have you, regardless of what you call DEI or not, that's all melanated for the most part, majority-wise, right? And again, I know you don't care, but let's not make it seem like this ain't got nothing to do with you, and not you in particular, because I know. Anyway. It's going to be way too late once niggas catch on. Fast government. Yeah, again, y'all don't know nobody from the DMV? Y'all don't know what's going on out there. Y'all don't know how nervous that shit is. You don't know that the if the body politics of the black body represented a nervous system, their parasympathetic nervous system is blown, and they are now secreting cortisol because they're fearful. Right? They're fearful about what's finna happen. There's no promises. And they're cutting and slashing, and they're targeting our folk first. Right? So, with the same day that Trump signed the executive order to release the JFK documents is the same day that they ordered the release of the MLK documents, and it was 45 days from when they signed those documents. So That was up on March 9th. It's cute that they put the JFK stuff out, but where's the MLK stuff? Right? Where is the stuff pertaining to King? Let me see what else we got here. All right, so that, all of these files and what have you, I'm not going to go into the JFK documents, right? Outside of the fact that it points to the Zionist state, right? And, again, it because people don't really understand what AI also be ideologically. I don't understand what you mean by that. Aces King. If you could ask me that in a different way, I definitely would love to give you an answer or perspective. The MLK shit is implying he was sassy. Yeah, I didn't come across that in particular. Of course they spoke about his promiscuity with white women, but for me to say, oh, that's something that we already knew, that's still something that people is arguing about and attempting to debunk. And they're saying, oh, that's fake news or that's COINTELPRO. And they're like, damn, nigga, we got tapes of him, you know what I'm saying? Wearing out white women, choking them out. They had a tag word for him in their file. They call him the monster. You know what I'm saying? They say he was giving. Look, the only thing that changed with civil rights for the most part is that you can openly, you know what I'm saying, deal with white women without having to swing from a branch. Then tell me I'm lying.
Chill, don't talk about my guy like that, man.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that's the most pressing change that we seen with that was they laid the tracks down and said crossover.
Mm. Could we
You
go
don't
back
gotta swing from a
to this hip hop
branch no
talk real
more.
quick?
But
Could we go back to this hip hop
you
talk
said
real
what?
quick? Could we go back to the hip hop talk real quick?
Oh, absolutely. I was waiting on you. I don't want to do it with myself, so I had to, because there's so many. I mean, it intertwines and it's just zigzags. It goes into so many
It's
dimensions.
so many angles. I officially want to just have a day where we deal with hip hop. Because people get confused sometimes and they be like, what about the spaceships? And it's like, we gonna talk about that, but
Yeah,
you know,
before we get extraterrestrial, we have to
I
deal with
need
all
my
things
Jets with the
terrestrial.
mess. I'm Jets
Yeah,
with the
we
mess. I need
got
to
to
get
we
some
got to
shit off my
deal with all
chest.
things terrestrial before we go extraterrestrial. You know what I'm saying? And the only reason I would go into a MLK or JFK conversation is to get into LBJ and the layering and the foundation of what or the new Great Society deal, civil rights, and all of that
Yeah,
creates the quote unquote the entry point for hip hop. Hip hop becomes the fulcrum of integration. It becomes, you know what I'm saying, the crystallization of integration. That's hip hop, where you got these two different avenues, right? One, the revolutionaries that were still holding on to the struggle, and then you got the niggas that came, right, and got introduced to rugged individualism, got handed a pack, and said, fuck the struggle, fuck
right.
community, fuck the collective, fuck the struggle, fuck my
Fuck all
ancestors,
that shit.
fuck the history, fuck all that,
Fuck the
right?
dashikis.
Fuck the dashikis. No, I want to get to this American dollar. I want to get to this capitalism. I want to get to Americana. I worship at the feet of the almighty dollar. And I'm willing to do whatever to whoever to get it. And that's where we're at.
What's
And what
my
we're
dude
looking
name
at
from the
is
Bronx? Who put Ralph Lauren on
um Bobby.
with the Americana drip?
Bobby. I don't. Is Bobby from Boston or from the Bronx?
No,
Ralph,
okay.
Ralph Lauren
Ralph
is from the
Lauren is from the
Bronx.
Bronx.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Bobby from Boston.
Bobby from Boston with the Americana drip. I,
Bobby from Boston had all of the Americana drips sold up. You know what I'm saying?
and
Shout out to brothers, they remind me of that swag and that level of curation like Taz Arnold.
yeah, and the people in South Carolina and Texas doing the line dancing and all of that revival that you see right now with the big Indian, the feathers up, and they doing all of that line dancing, the trail dancing and all of that.
Yes.
That's giving Americana drip. You know what I mean? I like how they put it together.
Oh, that's definitely, definitely Americana. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And again, it's Americana that we should own. It's Americana that we should embrace.
Right.
I said it last night, I'm not against this revival of, you know what I'm saying, of Americana, of people really embracing their quote unquote American roots. My DM was flooded after that show. But, they was
With
giving me
information.
information. They was giving me introductions to people. Go search and look. And within 20 or 30 minutes, I had a whole new program just based on the information that I learned. Based on the
Uh,
information that I learned. And,
yeah.
we was definitely in the right direction. I just should have drilled down a little bit more on some things. But we'll get a chance to spin the block. That's a conversation that's not going anywhere. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the people of the Mississippi Delta area region, Louisiana Panhandle, and all of that good stuff.
Oh yeah, we got invited to Sapelo Island.
Yeah, yeah,
I've been there before. I spent the night there before.
yes.
Very mystical island. You got to take a ferry to go over there.
Peace,
Um,
Danny.
I fired
Yeah,
off weapons over there. You know what I mean? On some old, well, arrows. But yeah, shot an
yeah.
arrow.
Shout out Arrow.
Um, Shot an arrow, you know what I mean? I ate the food from the land. Very mystical, very you just feel the presence of ancestral energy. What up, Danny?
Yes, and
But
Sapelo Island, from what I understand, it's under attack by
yeah,
developments.
yeah,
People
yeah.
that want to develop on that land. There's a lot of elders there, and they need us. They need youthful energy. They need, they need media. They need people to put a spotlight on what's going on there.
They,
You feel me?
they do. They do.
And you know
They do.
anybody that been to Jekyll Island?
Yeah.
Because correct me if I'm wrong. Are they in the same area?
Um, um no. Not to my knowledge, but there's a whole litany of islands, but Sapelo Island stands out. You know what I mean? There was a tragedy over there about a year ago when
Yeah,
the bridge collapsed
yeah. The
with
elders
ferry.
transition. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
some elders transition. You know what I'm saying? May they rise in power.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're gonna pull up on there. Let's get back to the
To the hip
'cause I
hop.
don't yeah, I don't know if
So when I seen the news about Big U, this was World Star broke it, right? I wasn't taken aback. It wasn't, you know what it was? You know what I said? Damn, Whack 100 strikes again. No, no, I'm serious because I literally heard this man say 2 days ago, right?
yeah,
And I don't even listen to the Whack. I just ran across it on YouTube because they was going real heavy on Big. They was on his helmet, right? Pause.
pause, right.
And he specifically stated to the T,
Mm-hmm.
Whack. He said Big U was gonna get picked up by them boys in 2 days, and they were speaking specifically about a rapper who they unalived, and it's not Nip,
Yeah, yeah.
right?
It's not that.
But for anybody that's out there giving Big U the benefit of the doubt when it comes to some of the unwarranted accusations against his name, when it comes to his jealousy, and they were like, yo, he was responsible, he probably was the one that put the battery and homie back to do what he did to Nip. Look no further than to the case where he knocked off one of his artists, allegedly, right? Went to the studio. The dude was in the studio. They said he made a diss song against Big U. Big U and them niggas drove to Las Vegas, pulled up to the Airbnb. You feel me? And basically, you know, dude, they see they got a surveillance of dude getting in the car, never seen him again. And they left him in the desert, right? Nasty work, right? Nasty work. But at the end of the day, if this man has anything to do with the demise of one of the quote unquote of a messianic, right? Not a rapper, you know, we ain't running behind rappers and whatnot. We identify the messiahs amongst us, those with the messianic energy and whatnot. I don't give a fuck if you're an athlete, a rapper, or whatever. If you have a messianic energy to whereas you have the power to galvanize and to heal your people, we have to pay attention to that. And I've said it before and I'm going to say it again. There's no rapper in the industry signed or even unsigned that I know of right now that had more of an impact than Nipsey Hussle for today's time that we live in. And I'm gonna say it, and I'm gonna qualify that because two things. One, of course, the aspect of health is wealth. How many rappers right now? How many artists right now? How many musicians or melanated people of prominence do you see going through these portals and it's health related? The work that he was going to be doing with Dr.
Right.
Say, the work that he was going to do to highlight the health alternatives with Sabian. This is pre C19, right?
Yes.
So he was going to introduce, huh?
Pre-C19, he was finna kick the door open, and that would have prepped a lot of people. You know, when
That would have saved
C19 hit,
lives.
it would have definitely saved lives. So let's say this, right? When we speak about people with messianic force, and we want to identify them, so we don't conflate the concepts or
Right,
terms. You know, if that man saved one life of a youth coming up in California that said, "Oh, my only options was gang banging or slinging cane," but I see Nip, and Nip is a rapper turned entrepreneur. You know, he got a tech hub. You know what I'm saying? He's advocating cryptocurrency. If you could save one child's life, are you not a
right,
savior?
right. But I'm gonna qualify the second, and this is not. There's a few qualifications that I could give him. But keep in mind, we're staying current and we're going to stay current with the times and we're not going to try to go over too many people's head. The second qualification that made him a leader in his own rights was what you just mentioned. He was advocating for cryptocurrency when it was affordable.
Right. Super affordable.
It's not affordable anymore. So melanated people having Bitcoin dreams, you are the op right now because you don't have something that's going to be very instrumental in the future when it comes to power dynamics. You don't got none. So you're not a part of the conversation. You still a customer. He was trying to get our people ready to be a part of a global
Yeah.
huh?
Do you remember the young lady who had the store in um
Yeah,
in
Inglewood.
Englewood, right? She had a crypto spot, and
We went to.
we went to after the funeral because she was in talks with Nip about doing the coin, and someone had to pick up the slack. And she went on a countrywide tour with Hill Harper, I believe,
Yeah.
and she was giving out like $5 worth of Bitcoin. You know what
Yep.
I'm saying? Everywhere that she went, she was giving out biddies and what have you. So shout out to her. Again, she kept the marathon. She continued the marathon and kept going, what have you. And she advocated every single time I saw her, you know, online and what have you.
Right.
She was beating the drum.
But
Shout out to
who went ahead and who went ahead and attempted to clone his walk, right? This whole facade that Big U was putting on that he was this community dude and he was helping out the community and he was there for the people. That's Nipsey's blueprint that he ran with. That's Nipsey's blueprint. He wasn't even. I don't even remember Big U even talking like that prior to the demise of our good brother.
yeah.
her mayor
I mean, let's be clear though. He was tethered in the community with community
football leagues.
active, yeah, programs or what have you. You know what I mean? So he was active in his community
Right.
to a degree. Did it equal the impact necessarily that a brother like Nip would have? Was it futuristic in its approach? Probably
I'm
not.
I'm
You know what I'm
mostly
saying?
talking about the
But
rebranding. I'm speaking more so about the rebranding, right?
yeah.
Because there was a time where you couldn't even say his name. You couldn't even say his name. That's how feared it was. The rebranding made him approachable. Similar to Nipsey had a rebranding as well. There was an attempt
Hmm.
in the later years of his life to show him in a newer light with Section 90, with the with him getting behind crypto, him having meetings with the LAPD to quell the gang violence and things. That was a rebranding. Another person that ran with his blueprint was Jay-Z with Jack Dorsey and the Bitcoin move. You know what I'm saying? So they pillaged that man's legacy. And I'm just, like I said, the spirit of Nip is very strong. Shout out to Black Sam running that marathon
Shout out
and,
to
standing
Herbal
up.
Alchemist. Yeah, shout out to Herbal Alchemist as well. She did some amazing work last year, but she channeled the energy and she
Yep.
got to some things. But yeah, and I was saying this about the responsibility of being level headed because when we speak about the current paradigm of hip hop and is run by this drill culture and everybody want to get back. You know what I'm saying? Everybody got to up the score, or even it, or what have you. Take an example though of somebody like Black Sam who handled business. You know what I'm saying? Who was 10 toes down and ran a marathon. And the way that you qualify someone who has transition or ancestors, you finish their incomplete works. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I heard that
And
part earlier when you said that.
yeah, I just want to say it again because it's
Yes,
important that
sir.
he set that example of really what a marathon looks like trajectory wise, because you even seen that video last week or when the day of the opening when that podcaster popped up and Sam had to stand on business, right? And that all that energy was coming from that side, and he's like, nah, you got to, you know what I'm saying? Like he was clearing space to
Right.
keep business about business. You feel me? So at the end of the day, yeah, what's the business? You know what I'm saying? What's the business of the people? And are there alternative or different ways to do business in this current paradigm without us losing these babies in the street? You know what I'm saying? To this culture that, he is going to become almost like one of those archetypical figures of the OG that's always sending these little ones on dummies missions.
Oh, for sure.
So, you know what I mean? Yet again, you know what I'm saying? We're dealing with a situation where the Rico has struck
Rico and
and
LAX
the Rico and LAX.
showing that taco meat getting off of that plane. You know what I'm talking about? Um, I want to talk about this retrograde and the energy, as we embark upon Aries, like the energy of war, the energy of like clashing and whatnot, the energy of people butting heads, the energy of the verses. It's very
Yeah,
strong right now. I
and
compiled a
I yeah.
list, huh?
Oh, go ahead.
Now I had just compiled a list yesterday. I was literally just like,
You're making observations.
yeah, just making an observation. I was just bombarded with all of the people that were beefing in what they call the public, in the public spectacles
Square
and whatnot. And it's
in a public
crazy.
square.
Yeah, in the public
Yeah,
square. So you
yeah.
got Daz versus Suge Knight.
Oh, there
Daz
you go.
Dillinger, Suge Knight. They was out there ethering one another, talking greasy. There'll never be a reunion. Then you got Jess Hilarious in a Breakfast Club. Real
Oh,
messy.
yes.
Once again, I'm surprised that you're surprised. I don't have no sympathy because at the end of the day, you know, if you from Philadelphia, you know the men that you came in dealing with. You know how they get. You know what they was about. You know they body. Angela Lee, you thought you was different than Angela Yee. You thought that you was
I
different,
mean,
sis. You know.
somebody gotta fill the slot,
Somebody got to fill the slot at the end of the day. Like you said, it's business, right?
Absolutely.
And the businesses ran off of, the people said that they wanted the girl Lauren and whatnot. That's what the people said.
Hmm.
So that's what, huh?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The people voted on that.
People voted on that. Then you got UMG versus Drake. God damn.
Oh, man, yeah.
They have to
That's
do it
kind of
like
like
that.
that's kind of what I started this live to speak about. You know what I mean? I really wanted to speak about these contracts because my point is that we're looking at low hanging fruit. We're looking at the psychosis of these men that have been duped. You know what I'm saying? By these record contracts, Lord knows what that. And this is not to make no excuses for them, but when you look at someone that's thoroughly cooked like a Ye, and you just look at the trajectory of these people who have been in close proximity to these labels and these contracts, right? We can
Right,
verifiably show and prove that they are engaging in a level of sorcery dealing with these contracts because everybody's royalties go into a black box.
right.
And we know who the people are who are synonymous and identified with the black box,
With the black box. Right,
right? That the Saturnian energy of the black box. We know the small hats definitely identify with that.
right,
But, this Angie Stone situation is not sitting right. Limp Bizkit's $200 million lawsuit just got approved to go forward. So before we sit around and celebrate UMG, because I'm seeing all of the bloggers, right,
right. They
getting
riding.
into they de-riding because they put the smackdown on homie with the counter lawsuit. But I'm like, yeah, let's really not make this mistake. You feel me? And we just run with it. And they're propping them people up like they're champions of the culture. And I'm
Right.
like, they played the Salugio on you once again, right?
Once again,
So
put
let's
the
say
wool over your
also,
eyes.
yeah, so the overarching energy of all of this was going to push war is the fact that, and I said this 2 months ago, I said, wait till Aries season and you're going to see the Zionists go back into Gaza.
They ain't waste no
So
time.
then not only did they not waste no time, so the blood moon, they did a preeminent because they got the U.S. to go against Yemen,
Right.
right?
Houthis
The Houthis is not no threat to the U.S. That's all plays for Israel
and the Saudis. Of-
and the Saudis, right? Who got the biggest beef with Iran. So this is all of that play, and they lining it up. And today I see that they started the ground assault again, and I'm like, yeah, they always do this when they transition into Aries, going into spring, just like the U.S. went into
Right.
Iraq the
In
day
spring
of
2003.
2003, right? So I'm just like, bro, yeah, it's Aries going to be all the way up. And then there's a cosmological transition taking place on March 30th. It's like all bets off. I'm trying to see which one it is.
Can you put
Refresh my brain.
what is this retrograde over? Because I know it just started. Matter of fact, I'm gonna be right back. I'm gonna send a request. Bring me right back in.
All right. Yes. Y'all can help me out. What's there's a astrological occurrence on the 30th of March. Somebody help me out with that. And this retrograde goes into April 7th. Okay. Yeah, man. Shout out to the Geminis. No, not um. Is it not the solar eclipse? Not the partial. Mm-mm. Birthday's on the 31st. Mine's on the 15th. Eclipse. before both days, right? Yeah, salute, shout out to you. Yeah, we'll be in North Carolina for Melanin Mondays on the 31st. Neptune to Aries, yes. Neptune to Aries. It's finna go up. March 30th, Neptune, the planet of dreams, illusions, spirituality, and creativity, moves into Aries for the first time in 165 years. Neptune moves, creates ripples in the collective consciousness, and sets up a new generational cycle to work with. Right? So this is indicative of Neptunian energy because Neptune rules Pisces. Pisces is spirituality, is drugs, is music. Shout out to Playboy Cardi. That was a very Piscean move. On the blood moon, right? You know, a whole lot of red. Whole lot of red. Yeah, do you think that they plan for this? Or it's just an alignment? Do you think they plan for this or you think it's just an alignment?
Yeah, who planned for
I
this?
was saying Playboy Cardi, you know, skillfully and masterfully dropped in the Piscean energy of the quote unquote lunar blood moon,
Blood Moon.
whole lot of red. And he came out with I Am Music. Pisces represents music. Pisces represents spirituality, and it also represents quote unquote drugs. Now, how is the spirituality come into play? Because he put Kendrick in the mix automatically, and
Right.
now everyone is questioning his spirituality to say, "Oh, did we get duped?"
Well, we had this conversation on Blurred Lines a few weeks ago, and I stated that Kendrick is. You asked if they asked us if Kendrick was a conscious rapper, and I stated if you're a real Kendrick fan, you know what he jumped into the industry saying. I'm the biggest hypocrite.
Hmm.
He represents a genre called hypocritical consciousness. It's really like a generation. Kendrick popped out in 2010. Around 2010, you had the pro era movement, Joey Badass and all of them. You had Black Hippie movement, but you also had niggas listening to drill music at the same time. The biggest hypocrites, right? That generation, pill popping, his first one of his first songs was talking about going into the bottle and whatnot, swimming pools, you know.
It was a cautionary tale about alcohol. I
Right, right,
mean,
right, right.
people try to
But
frame
what
it
I'm
like he
saying
was
is,
talking about. Yeah,
what I want to remind people is, I gotta add context to it. Around that time of his ascension and whatnot, the generation that he represented was not the generation that was tapped in with the consciousness to whereas they were not comfortable saying that they drink. They were not comfortable saying that they smoke. The people that we were talking to on YouTube and the people that they were acting high and mighty, super
oh
holy
yeah,
and
yeah. They was
whatnot,
acting puritanical, like
puritanical,
I
you feel
smoke,
me?
but not with backwoods. Yeah, all that
Yeah,
shit.
you know what I'm talking about? You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, I drink,
they,
but not on
they
weekends.
yeah, oh my goodness, is he swearing? You know, all of that type of shit. Because what it was it was the beginning of this shift where the older generation of consciousness, right? The academia, the old heads and whatnot, it was moving into the hip hop generation. So there was somewhat of a culture shift still. So even when we were coming in, you still had to be more upright. You couldn't talk about certain things. Kendrick and them, I remember going to Black, what was that shit called?
Black Star, but
No,
on
no, no, no,
25th,
no. The thing in Commodore Park, the Afro Punk,
Afro Punk. Yeah.
2012. Cause somebody they was like, I seen that Flatbush Zombies was gonna be there, and I was checking, I was like listening to them. I was like, I want to see what they look like performing and everything. And
Hmm.
I went there and got my mind blown because I remember coming back and speaking about it to everybody. And then the next year, I think I took Polite and what's my dude with the Salak, Shaka Atmos and all of them there. And it was like a culture shock.
Yeah.
All right, it was the
Shout out to
culture shock.
Oba.
Oba,
Oba, bring
that.
the
Yes,
book. We
yes,
could do
we
the book
definitely
release,
need
man.
that new book. We need to bring you on the show too, so you could promote it.
For
It was a
sure.
culture shock
Yo,
because I was
my
not
mind was blown.
right. I wasn't really used to seeing the younger demographics that were doing consciousness the way that they were doing it. They deconstructed consciousness and they were doing it the way that they wanted to do it. So I'm in Commodore Park. I'm seeing niggas with blue hair drinking 40s, nose rings and whatnot, face tats. This is back then, and I'm like, is what the fuck? You know what I mean? So that's like the demographics that Kendrick Lamar, a Flatbush Zombie, Capital C's, Black Hippie, a lot of them represented that. Fast forward to where we are right now as that Gemini. Yeah, he said that he's the biggest hypocrite. So to see him pop up with Playboy Cardi, Kodak Black, and all of these people, that is that's nothing outside of the norm if you've been keeping up with homie.
Right. He's exercising his identity as a Gemini to be he's dealing with an aspect of duality. So let me read real quick. Neptune and Aries, which is gonna hit on March 30th.
Okay.
Neptune is the planet of spirituality and higher consciousness, and it moves into Aries. We may start to focus on our identity and who we are away from the collective. There could be a tendency to get stuck in our ego identity, but this may be part of the process of uncovering more of our authentic selves. So I would say this, right? He said, Cardi's my evil twin, right? So he's saying, I'm going to elevate him and you know, we're gonna collaborate because he's being authentically him.
Right.
He's identifying the artistry and the fact that he can say, yeah, I am music because his music is being authentic to whatever that is.
Right. Right.
Yeah, nah, it's not, my dude Drew Ice, that's family right there.
Zombie Juice, that's my
Yeah,
guy.
that's my guy. So yes, so we we can't always frame things out of the lens through which we're just looking at the world,
Right.
and putting just placing our perspectives on it. Like,
We Uncle Schooly, man. One thing that I walked away when I listened to that new project from the Playboy Cardi is, we all have different ears now. There's certain nuances that I can't pick up on, but my son could listen to it and he could translate it and be like, nah, this is what he was saying. And I'm like, I didn't hear that. Like, what the fuck? So,
oh yeah, you gotta have an ear for it. You know what I mean? The subtleties, and we, again, like our generation will have an ear for certain things, and then the generation, you know what I mean?
or yeah,
Like
the
so,
parents or the hip,
everyone is
the hippie.
orientated. Yeah, we're orientated different ways to hear different things, and I also think that their generation is more. And I want to say this without it sounding so crazy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
This, the younger generation, this generation Alpha or Beta, or
they they call them
whatever.
alpha.
Yeah, they're more. They're categorically more on the spectrum or closer to it.
Right,
And I think that there's a positive to that as well, because that means that they are absorbing more of the spectrum. And the spectrum that they are absorbing deals with sound and light.
right.
You know what I'm saying? And hearing the album, like I just heard sounds and synths, and it's so multi-layered. Yeah, and they're emphasizing, they're like, no, you have to listen to this at high volumes, almost like where the speaker is, you know,
Well,
you gotta damage your eardrums to catch it. And I'm like, I don't know if I want to do all that
this
for
is
the
the
sake of.
thing you got to keep in mind, right? How these artists are coming into prominence, right? And you also got to keep in mind who these artists are copying. Travis Scott,
Hmm.
right, he's he's the big three of that generation. He
Yes.
makes stadium music,
Yes.
right?
I'm familiar.
So watching the Playboy Cardi at Rolling Loud, right? I seen him at Rolling Loud before, but this time with the new album and whatnot, I was like, let me see what this shit is hitting for, performance wise. You know what I mean? Let me see what it's hitting for in the stadium. Niggas making stadium music. You feel me? And it's not for everybody. And that's one of the weird things about, being, there's a divide amongst the generations, right? You got like the streamer generation. They have something called underground music, and it's not the same underground music of our generation.
Hmm.
Like we think underground music is boom bap, it's like some Griselda shit. Their underground music is like fucking mumble rap, like Benji Blue bands, and you know what I mean? Niggas is mumbling. Like we'll never be able to understand that shit. We'll never get it because why would I want to get? I'm damn near touching 50. I'm not finna get in a time machine and try to keep up with the fucking 17-year-olds and the 18-year-olds. But I gotta have I gotta have a level of respect as to what they're going through, knowing that later on everybody's musical taste obviously grows. They're experimenting. They're deconstructing music right now.
Yeah.
They're trying to find a place where they are never confused for you old niggas. That's how they moving. They like we don't ever want to be confused. We don't ever want to look like y'all going out sad. That's how they see the old heads. Y'all are
Right.
sad. Y'all broke. Y'all on the internet arguing. Y'all don't have no motion really like that. And the yay
Yeah.
is like
Remember, we never wanted to be our parents either.
we ain't never want to be our parents. We never. So
I
I
mean,
give I give
from the culture
from a
aesthetic. I'm not speaking
cultural
directly about my
aesthetic, right?
pops. Peace.
So I give
Um,
credulence to rebellion. I give credulence to rebel culture. People wanting to rebel, even though you might be the person they want to rebel against. The YN movement, the YN, the ski mask niggas, they different. The shit that they listening to is different.
yes.
Their frequency is
It's
different.
different
When they was
sense. Yeah. It's different frequencies. Like I said, it's different spectrums. It's different sounds, and those sounds are informing a level of consciousness because it's still communication. And we were speaking about this a few years ago. I think Buddha Clinks might have been on one of those shows. We were speaking about the grunts.
right,
He was speaking about tonality, tones and grunts. You know what I'm
right,
saying? Because he was getting into the whole phonetics of the Logo Sapien,
right,
right? About removing vowels and dealing with tones and grunts. And this was before mumble rap really had a hold. So when I started hearing mumble raps, I was like, oh, we going back to tones and grunts. You know what I'm saying? That's primal.
right. SoundCloud era.
SoundCloud era. So what I heard with Cardi on that album, it was a lot of tones and grunts and fluctuation of voices. You know what I'm saying?
He got 5 or 6 of them.
6 or 7. And as you said, to understand, and and again, this might not be news to people who, you feel me, are our age, and but your children listen to this.
Right, but because
This
there's so
this
much
this
hype,
Yeah, this sonic influence is still informing who they are, ultimately what they think and who they're gonna become. So it's imperative that you have somewhat of an idea of what these children are
he's an
listening to.
androgynous gangbanger
Yeah,
who's
he's an
he's a
androgynous gangbanger.
misogynist, androgynous gangbanger. So he kind of like covers a lot of the boxes for the younger generation. These are I was scrolling through my what's that shit where you go through people's stories? I was scrolling through my stories. I'm following Swamp Izzo, right? So Swamp Izzo's the DJ.
Yeah,
Swamp
yeah, yeah,
Izzo's the DJ. He an old head, right?
yeah.
So Swamp Izzo basically tagged. I guess everybody's tagging him just listening to the album. So I'm getting to see the demographics. Mad Caucasians, right?
Right.
From all around the world, right?
Yeah.
And these are like squares. These are what you would look at them and be like, these might be incels in a sense. You know what I mean? Socially awkward type of niggas, like wearing all black baggy shit. You know the new pose.
Right.
They take the picture. They don't look in the camera. They got this is the new pose.
Is it the anonymity factor?
It's the fit pic. This is the new pose. You gotta look. You know what I mean? You gotta have the what they call trim, right? You gotta have some swag and shit. So I'm like, these artists are catering to our younger generation who are socially awkward. They want to bust a nut, you know what I mean? They want to get a baddie and whatnot. But they live in this era where it's not about chivalry anymore. They classmates as OF girls and whatnot. So it's transactional, you know what I mean? And the gangbanging shit, speaking about Big U earlier, you know, it wasn't like that when we was coming up, Blue. The way that this gangbanging shit is gripping the culture, it wasn't like that. But
But
he
again,
he
because it's drip,
fashions
yeah.
he fashions himself. The whole I Am music thing is Lil Wayne. He fashions his whole motif is the Lil Wayne shit. So these are the Wayne babies on top of some other babies and whatnot. So this gang shit is performative in a sense. You know what I mean? It's there, you know, it's like I don't have a father. I don't got a big homie. So we getting
But
with the
they,
brotherhood. We getting with the gangs
Corey,
and shit. Or what they
you shooting
call
a video
street
over there?
organizations. You know?
You shooting a video across the street? Okay, nah, it was,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Well, at
it's,
that spot, that club spot across the street, they be
it,
doing videos over there.
yeah, nah, yeah, it's performative. And again, because it's music driven, so you know we have to understand that it's entertainment. Yeah, somebody because he also come from that Atlanta vibration. It's Gucci, Future, like you
Well,
said, Travis.
of course, it's the goats. It's Future on the top right now. Um, Thug, who they would just be like, that's the upgrade of Wayne in a sense to certain people. And then it's also the revival of what they call futuristic Atlanta sound. That's my nigga Young LA. Don't you let breathe in, Robbie? That, that's a sound that Atlanta had adopted in like 2010, 11. You know, that's the futuristic
Yo,
sound.
what's my guy name from Florida? Corey. Not Plies, the D-Lo, the
Boss Man D-Lo.
yo, yo, hold on, son.
Don't you let extra
Hold
sloppy.
on. I just happened to come across his performance. Slap it, right?
Right.
All, all his shit sound the
He do
same
the
though.
same song, right? He's doing the same song every time.
He did the same song for an hour and some change though. And it
Facts.
was lit from beginning to end.
Popping.
Popping.
Poppington.
You understand? His DJ was wilding.
Yeah.
Yo, you know
Wildin'.
whose show was crazy?
Who?
Peso Pluma?
Oh, oh, the Mexican nigga.
Yo,
Yeah.
I didn't
With the
understand a
band.
word he said.
I ain't understand a
He
word.
had the
But he got the
Mexican
algorithm
musicians with the strings, with the
with the string
violins
shit,
and
right.
the harps and all of that. And his energy, son was, he must have been geeked. He was
Yeah, he was
wilding, son.
geeked up. He was wilding. I seen that. That's cartel music right there.
Yeah, that
That's
cartel
real
music, because
cartel music.
we had his
So
biddies with him, man. They knew, they knew. So I'm like, no, I'm just saying, this cross blending of what hip hop no longer is,
right.
you can't even identify to put it in a box. Cause I'm like, what the fuck
It's
was that?
deconstructed. They deconstructed hip hop. It's not what we grew up. It's like
No, it's obviously not
most.
what we grew up on, but it's
But keep this in mind, Blue. We're in the internet generation. We're in the Spotify world. So Spotify comes with a long tail because Spotify is not Tower Records. in Tower Records, it was limited to how many genres you could have because of volume and
Right.
space and
Shelf space.
dimensions.
Right.
It's almost like putting water in a bottle and whatnot. But so much you could put in there. So Sam Goody, Tower Records, they could not have 1,000 genres because of the space. You had to get real estate to be able to sell your product. But when iTunes came along and when Spotify came along, they came with the long tail.
Yes.
The long tail means that it never ends.
Yes. Endless
So just
space. Right.
Andalusian,
Digital.
huh?
Right. Explaining them through digital distribution
Right.
is endless space. So it's a long tail. The
The
tail
long
never
tail.
ends. It's
Right. Never
endless
ends.
amounts of genres.
I
And
could wake up
Spotify,
today and make a
because of
genre.
the algorithmic playlists, you know what I'm saying? Even though there's endless genres, there still are.
Crossbreed, things that cross.
Yes.
Right? So we're in a phase right now, we're in a period in music where it is experimental. And that's okay. Right? They're looking for the new sound. It hasn't been found yet. Right?
Right.
But they're in a for the past, I would say 2016 and whatnot, 17 maybe. That's like the rise of SoundCloud rappers. That's Uzi, Triple X, and all of them. They kind of was like that's remember Lil Wayne Rebirth, the rock and roll rap shit. They're kind of moving on that frequency,
Mm-hmm.
and it's been deconstructing itself ever since. To whereas we're looking for a sound that we could collectively agree and be like, that's it. But just based off of what I'm seeing with the younger generation, we'll never. I don't think there's ever gonna come a time where all of us are gonna be pleased with one artist. Get over that. Get off of that. Let that go. Let these niggas do what the fuck they do and enjoy whatever they grew up listening to or whatever their ears are trained for. We cannot apply the rules to their eardrums.
Mm-hmm.
It's just different. They grew up listening to Chief Keef mumbling and knew every fucking word he was saying.
That part.
That's some special ears on niggas.
They got
So
different ears, right?
different ears. And the frequency of the music is telling them to do certain things that it's not telling us to do. So the crash outs with the YNs, the whole culture, the junkie culture, a lot of these things, once again, can tie back into their GOAT, their quote unquote Jay-Z, the one who wrote the script, the one who put together the play. Until something happens with him, the spell will remain on the younger generation, and that is Dwayne Carter.
Facts. So let me hit on this Neptune and Aries because this may be the energy that's gonna usher in the new sound.
All right.
Neptune in fiery areas can also make us more productive when it comes to pursuing our goals and wishes. We may feel more confident to push forward on something and start new projects that call to us. Aries is the first sign of the zodiac and the leader. It is keen to start new things and plant new seeds. And with Neptune here, we may very well feel that a new approach is important. Neptune moving into Aries can create themes that we can see playing out in the world around us. One of the most notable events that happened the last time Neptune was in Aries over 165 years ago was the American Civil War. Ideologies were changing and people were willing to stand up for what they believed was right, even if it meant going against their own country. So, can we just say, instead of being triggered by everything this administration does, that this astrological influence is setting back, the hands of times to that particular demarcation point, and just look at the world shifting and changing based on the influences of that? Not saying that you got to sit still and allow it to happen, but at least know that what is happening is, has a level of cosmic
Cosmic influence.
ordaining. Yes.
Right. I mean, you did say that you were observing the rollback that Trump and them were doing from the minute they stepped in. It was all about Back to the Future. There was a rollback to take people back, and one of the one of the telltale
Antebellum
signs,
South.
huh?
To the antebellum South.
To the antebellum sign, and then the telltale sign of that was when they passed the thing yesterday about the segregated bathrooms. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
So now with the Fed, what is it? The Fed, the federal government,
Federal contractors.
federal contractors who don't fuck with you anyway. You know, so they're gonna begin to exercise some of that rollback and whatnot. And you know, it is what it is. Hopefully, we could roll back far enough to where melanated people get back into their segregated mind and start doing for self and build some motherfucking cities. You know what I mean, and some towns and whatnot, and start seeing themselves as the solution. Let's roll all the way back that way. You know what I mean? I'm not really against that. Some of the other verses that I want to point out as well, because I didn't finish that, was the shit that they're doing with Tesla right now. So it's the liberals versus Tesla.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Rehash the verses. Let's go through that from the top. Let's run through that. Shout out to
Daz
the Aries.
Dillinger
I got
versus
Aries
Suge Knight.
rising. I feel like I'm home. Let's hear it.
Yes, Daz Dillinger versus Suge Knight, right? They clashing and whatnot.
And
Talking,
Snoop. But he's
yeah,
saying,
and
yeah,
Snoop, Sugar's talking crazy about them.
right.
Just Hilarious versus The Breakfast Club, namely Charlemagne and the girl Lauren. She kind of was sparing DJ Envy, but you know she got a gripe with Charlemagne.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, UMG versus Aubrey Graham.
Mm-hmm.
Ye versus Everybody.
Everybody.
That shit he said about man, he hit a nerve, man. I was like, nah, that's going too far. You know what I'm talking about? But there's a death wish involved. It's apparent. He put out the tweet that said ever since his mother died, he was thinking about unaliving himself on a daily basis. And then I think he said he stopped doing that when, I don't know when he said it, when he stopped thinking like that. But there's a death wish. If people don't realize what's going on, I don't know what to tell you. But he does want to revisit. He wants to get back with Donda. And respectfully, we got to give people, you know, he hates it here, so it's like, what you know what I mean? We're just
Yeah,
observers.
he's just gonna burn it down.
He's gonna burn
Like,
it down. And then when I saw he had a list of people that betrayed him, and then he said his children, and that was the cord that keeps him on. That's the shit that's the cord that keeps him tethered to this planet. Is those children? But he put the children on the op list, bro.
oh no.
But you know that's coming from the manipulation of the Kardashians and stuff like that. That he's basically like, yo, these are not my children right now. Mano versus Hassan Campbell. Monique versus Tyler Perry.
Again?
Oh, after the funeral, she pinned a letter to that nigga, bro. She pinned a long ass letter to open letter to Tyler Perry saying, "Hey, buddy, I saw you at that funeral for Angie Stone, and you were talking about that she was owed money and they need to do her right. Well, let me just remind you, Tyler. Lord. Yeah, she went in that bag with her husband right there egging her on. Young and May versus her ex.
You catching all the strays, boy.
Umar Johnson versus his daughter.
Oh, man.
Princess of Pan-Africanism. I seen Tommy Sotomayor eat through that young lady, bro. Oh my goodness.
Oh Lord. Tommy's still in these streets?
Man, I'm talking about he was hitting her with M. Bison uppercuts. Balrog, my nigga. He was hitting her with M. Bison uppercuts. He was, heavy-handed, bro. He was heavy-handed on that young lady. But, you know, she out. She a little Flappy Bird. You know what I mean? She out there, and she kind of put herself in a compromising position. The way that she was handling herself amongst grown men.
Oh, I don't know nothing about that. So I took your word for it.
You know what I mean? And it's like, it just was one of those stark reminders that, God damn it, these babies need their daddies, man. They need that training from day one, because it's a cold world out here. and these niggas with gripes on their shoulders in this post Kevin Samuels world, they took the velvet glove off.
Ain't
They
that
took
some?
the velvet gloves off. You know what I mean? So that was an observation that I made. It may even
Oh,
be
you can't be
more.
finished your op list. It's more than that. Or the verses. You got the Tesla, right, versus the
Yeah, I
liberals.
caught.
What
Yeah.
what do Trump versus lists look like?
Well, he got ops, but it's not to the degree of what we saw. Remember, Tesla, they opened up the year in January 1st with the
Hmm?
Tesla burning in Vegas.
Oh yeah, Trump versus Supreme Court. You're right.
Right. The
So Trump
Supreme
versus
Court
the
over flying
justices.
the dudes. Yeah.
Yeah, Trump versus the
Right. And
justices.
he owned and the justices work for him.
Steve
He owns
Roberts,
the
right?
majority of it. So that's really a facade. That ain't real. That's really, you know what I mean? They was like, word, that's what y'all saying? I can't fly these niggas to El Salvador. What? And he did it. And nobody, he's running with that immunity shit till the wheels fall off.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
gave it to me. Will use. Have
right.
immunity. Will
Will
use.
use.
Um.
Have
So
immunity, will
yeah,
travel type shit.
Tesla versus the liberals, and again, they're framing it because even Trump said, "Oh, this is work of the left and they're terrorists."
Right.
So,
Then he did some fake shit. I'm gonna buy a Tesla. But GM made the announcement yesterday that they doing the electric car with Nvidia.
ooh,
You feel me?
nasty work.
Yeah. Nvidia and GM is rolling out the electric car. GM took a dive. They tried the electric car and lost a few hundred billion. It didn't work out. But now they got Nvidia with them.
Yeah.
So with Tesla kind of like going
On
downward,
the
and
ropes,
then they
yeah.
got some Chinese shit. They got an African car, electric car, and they got the Chinese electric car, body and all of this Tesla shit. So,
Yeah, I think it's a Chinese car that if you buy them now, they got a rebate. You get 20K off. You trade in your old Tesla, they're gonna give you 5K for that, and then they gotta wait till you get a rebate and you get like 20K off. So they just making it impossible. Yeah, yeah. The Chinese car maker, is it BD? Is it one BD? And one of them eating their lunch. Yeah.
eating a lunch. And if I was in the market, if I was one of y'all, y'all be on y'all trading thing, I would short Tesla because it's just the right thing to do at this time.
Hmm.
I am not an Elon fan. There's nothing in me that's rooting for anything Elon related. He is an op for real, for real. He is a motherfucking op. Um, I don't know if there's more verses. These are the ones that I just caught in one fell swoop.
Yeah, that's enough. That's enough. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? To focus on. Yeah, South. Mark Rubio versus the ambassador of South Africa. You
Mm,
know, Elon versus SA. Um, yeah, it's just oppie out here, man.
it's real oppy. It's real oppy. So a lot
What?
of observations.
Well, where the North Korea nigga at, man?
Yeah, he,
Where's Rocket Man? He quiet. They laying in the cut like
he in the cut. You know what I mean?
they
He in
falling in the shrubs like Homer, like. Is there any interpretation about him bringing the astronauts home? I
the,
don't know if he was the one specifically responsible. He reneged on it. He was supposed to, you know what I mean? And then he reneged on
right,
it. But
right,
I'm gonna look into the whole astronaut bit. You know what I'm saying?
right. How's the Pope doing?
There's a heavy rumor. I just read it in the New York Times. And Italy is inundated by the rumor, the conspiracy theory that the Pope is no longer with us. And their social media influencers are running up in a hospital doing exposés on some TikTok ish, and
Word.
yeah, and they losing their cool. And they like, nah, that audio was fake because I think they put an audio out of him to to slow down the accusations. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
They put the audio out. They like, nah, that's AI generated. You know what I'm saying? He kicked the bucket. Y'all lying. Conclave X, Y, and Z.
Right.
Some nasty work. But
Mm.
yeah, we soon shall see.
I know. So I know that we got something coming up on Saturday.
Oh, did they pick? Yeah, I gotta look at that. See if that remember they got that blockchain company, the wedges, the bets that they utilizing for the Super Bowl.
Poly Market.
Polymarket, yeah. I want to see who they're wedging and see who's the next pope.
I was gonna ask you too. That's crazy that you brought that up. I was gonna say, what are the odds that by 322, what's your Poly Market odds that the Pope is no longer that they make that announcement before 322, before Saturday?
I don't, I don't know how that's necessarily. I don't have that playing out like that per se myself, but
Right.
you never know. But yeah, reminding people 322.
Yeah. In case y'all was unaware, ladies and gentlemen, on 322, which is on Saturday, me, Blue Pill, B Dale 1014, and now Keep Along 44. We're going to be doing a Zoom only lecture. This will be Zoom only, and it will start at 8 p.m. Eastern. And it is entitled Fear of a Blackamoor Messiah, the latest iteration of that. We've been doing the Fear of a Blackamoor Messiah series since 2016. And I don't think people are really aware of what the Messiah is on both sides, on the melanated side and the and the Messiah for what they call the Jewish people, which is very instrumental in global politics and
Yeah,
geopolitics right now. The
Moshiach.
move the Moshiach, the moves that they are making around, around the return of this Messiah or this Messiah, because this is all biblical prophecy, and this is what they put everything on the line for. So we're gonna have some of the best metaphysicians on the planet on Saturday, decoders and whatnot coming together to form Voltron, and yeah, we going upstairs with it. We want y'all to be in the building.
Absolutely. Where can they get access to that?
Let me get the Eventbrite is inside of my, what do they call that? Linktree.
Linktree, yes.
Yeah, the Eventbrite is inside of the Linktree. Um, if I had it in front of me, I would have dropped it in the comment and whatnot. But yeah, you could go ahead and get the tickets.
Damn.
I believe we'll be doing something a little bit later on YouTube with B Dell, so look out for that, y'all. We're gonna be having
Yo, they said Jackie Robinson's Army story restored after DEI, the Department of, Defense Department DEI purge. So they
right.
scrubbed.
Jackie
They,
Robinson and his yeah. So my question to everybody right now listening is in the
Jackie
armed
Robinson,
service.
yeah, I think that was the original Black Panther battalion or platoon. I think he was part of.
Yeah, and they scrubbed that shit. So if
Yeah,
you was in the armed services and you melanated, what are you doing right now? Are you sticking around? Are you just hoping that this shit gets better? Are you on your GI Joe shit? You're just doing it for the flag? What is your disposition as you see these people erase the contributions of your heroes? Are you gonna
yeah,
turn it?
it's ugly. I spoke about the Army general that they removed.
I
The
saw that.
Army general
I saw that.
scrubbed
That
them,
was crazy.
scrubbed
He was
them, right, and
decorated.
put DEI metal on the URL. So when you put it in, I'm not laughing because it's funny. I'm just saying, you know what I'm saying? Whew. And there was a few others. They erased the there was the Indian code, the Navajos. They used the codes, the what's that called, Morse code and all of
Morse
that.
code, right?
Yeah, they violated them. You know what I'm saying?
This
This
my
is all
thing.
Pete. It's all Pete. It's all Pete's work.
Right. So piecework for any of the creatives that are out there, this is a prime opportunity for you to bust your motherfucking gun and tell the story of all stories using AI and other technology. If they erase the motherfucking story, you pick that bitch up and breathe life into it and run with it. Tell some shit that's Academy Award winning and whatnot. You know what I mean? That's the duty of the creators at this point. Tell a documentary story like these niggas is on YouTube telling stories about all of the killers of black people. Like, if I want to find out what's happening in the streets, I just go to YouTube.
They're gonna tell it.
They're gonna tell it. They're gonna tell it.
And it-
It's gonna be compelling too. I'm talking about come upstairs, the dinner's ready. I'll be there in a minute. I ain't even moving. I'm listening to this shit. Cause this shit is sticky. So we got to start telling stories like Trap Law Ross about our the heroes amongst us, the ones who are worthy of folklore and whatnot. If they're taking them off of the thing, that even makes them more. It's even more of a great story to tell. Like, it adds on that you know what I mean? Like, they're now, you know what I mean? Like, they're the anti-hero in a sense. So it's up to us to revive them and put some sauce on their story based on a true story type shit. Make them, you know what I mean? Make them a little more
yeah, embellish,
gangster than they was.
embellish a little bit.
Embellish
Yeah.
on them.
Don't need you
Embellish
to
on
do
them.
this. Shout out to my brother Spin City. City tapped in just now.
Bria, what up?
Um, yeah, people have no idea how many real legends they never heard of, let alone, they got the gumption to defend somebody that they never heard of, decorated military veterans. And, this community doesn't really care for that or favor them. But these are still, melanated men and women that make contributions that should not be denied. Remember, power concedes nothing without a demand.
Right.
So you just do not allow people to take things, you feel me, just off the cuff because they just feel like it.
Right. They snatching chains.
They
They just
just they
walking.
just yapping.
They just got they whacking niggas out
They
and
they
they
yeah.
whacking out
They
murals.
in the back of rolling loud, just snatching wild chains.
Wild chains.
Niggas was heavy as shit. Niggas was heavy. They just whapped. They just yapping. Wild chains.
They just
But
yapping chains.
what
And
type of
the nigga
power
standing there
vacuum?
like, at least it ain't me. At least it ain't me.
What
Like you
type of
said,
power vacuum do you think is gonna be left in the West Coast with them? With these RICOs and federal indictments of
the same
some of the
power
main game
vacuum,
players.
the same power vacuums that are left every time they take out leadership. It's a method. It's a play. Adam 22 gets to bring on the new thirsty goofies and whatnot, right? He gets to platform the new goofies who are gonna fight for recognition.
Oh, so
And
yeah, the goofies is gonna come on in and talk about this particular case and give all of the details.
yes,
So he's gonna be like,
they already are. They ain't waste no time.
"They ain't waste some time."
They ain't waste no time. I was trying to think how many dudes have got locked up or currently are locked up from Adam 22. I counted about 4. You know what I mean? Crip Mac being one of the most famous of them. All crash outs, right? His interrogation platform is damn near taking Vlad TV out of the, you know what I mean, out the ranks. So if you get signed to Empire Records, you're gonna die. If you go on Vlad, you either gonna get locked up or die. If you go on Adam 22, you're gonna get locked up. What type of magic are these people doing on the contracts? What type of sorcery? What type of Jewish mysticism are these small hats doing on these platforms? Because I don't believe in coincidence. I don't believe in coincidence.
Yeah, they outside snatch change, y'all. Again, March 31st will be in North Carolina in Charlotte.
Charlotte.
Mondays in real life, in real time. Tap in with us, family, if you out there.
Definitely
Definitely
tapping
love to
with us.
see you.
That's gonna be a movie. Melanin Mondays IRL, March 31st. We in the building. And then on on the 4th, 4/4, on April the 4th, we will be in Richmond, Virginia with the family. Shout out to Richmond, Virginia. We pulling up. Skirt, skirt. We'll be out there, and we'll be with A.A. Rashid. That one is more like an art show, but it's going to be science involved. Blue is going to bring the Law 44, and we'll be focusing a lot on the arts and the sciences because, that's where we come from, and that's what we're going to give highlights to. And we'll be in the art district. Shout out to Charged Up Noah, Sir Bay,
Yeah.
and all of the family out there in Richmond, VA.
Yes. Richmond, we are coming back to Richmond. I love Richmond. It's a beautiful city, very artistic,
Betty.
but also the capital and the home of the Confederate. So, we're going to bring some of that MAGAFest destiny
To that part of town.
Yeah, we're going to be cooking. You know what I'm saying? I might even pull up on Charlottesville.
Woo. You gonna knock a statue down?
Nah. Perform a piece. I ain't knocking nobody's nothing down. I ain't into that. That ain't what I do.
Where that piece from the Congo Square? You still working on that?
Still working on it, yeah.
Okay. All right, but I gotta get out of here, bro. I appreciate you. And to the family, Noda Ledger 444. That is the YouTube channel. We're gonna be doing something maybe in about an hour with our good brother B Del and our Kibalon, inshallah. So make sure y'all tap in for that conversation leading up to Saturday's lecture. And we look forward to seeing y'all in the building on Saturday.
For sure. All right. Yeah, I definitely appreciate it. Thank you for pulling up. I couldn't have done it without you.
No doubt. Peace.
All right. All right, y'all. Appreciate y'all. Thank you for tuning in as well. Going on this journey with us. I'm going to save this. Make sure that I save this. There's a lot of information and good dialogue. All right. And with that, I'm going to see y'all on the next one. Peace.